Hi, my name is Steve Zeiger. Over the past several years, we've been asked to educate members of NAPAC, the National Association of Estate Planners and Counsels, STEP, the Society of Trust and Estate Practitioners, over 30 local estate planning councils, over 10 FPAs, the Practicing Law Institute, the CFA Society, and we've been speaking about the fiduciary era for life insurance. We've had so many requests for the presentation, we decided to put together an educational video so you can have a copy of the presentation and you can have our verbiage in the background. And now's actually the perfect time to educate fiduciaries on the proper decision support material for life insurance, because on October 20th, 2022, the New York State Court of Appeals constitutionally affirmed Regulation 187, the nation's first client's best interest regulation. A little bit of housekeeping before we begin. If you have a question, you can email me. My telephone number is on the screen. If you'd like a copy of our Trust and Estates article, simply send me an email. We're happy to send it to you. And if you'd like a research report at no cost, again, simply email us or call me on my phone. It doesn't mean we're doing business together. If you have a request, it simply means you'd like to learn more. So first of all, let's start off by talking about what actually are life insurance illustrations. So life insurance illustrations are depictions of the non-guaranteed elements of a life insurance contract over a period of years. And let's take a look at me, for example. If I'm 50 years old, the life insurance illustration goes from age 50 to age 120, which means there are 70 rows of numbers, and there are also 5 to 10 columns. So you're immediately looking at thousands of numbers, and then we're looking at those numbers at 0%, 5%, 10%. So it's really impossible to look at the numbers to make a decision, and it's impossible to look at one illustration and compare it to another illustration. So in addition to all of that information, there are dozens of disclaimers and footnotes, and then the client signs an attestation of understanding. And I doubt they really understand it. So life insurance can be summarized as this. There's a cost of insurance charge, which is the charge for all of the other people that have passed away. There are policy expenses for actuarial design and marketing and distribution. And then there's the earnings on the contract. So regardless of the type of contract that it is, the formula is the cost of insurance charge plus the expenses minus the earnings equals the premiums. So as far as life insurance illustrations, what are the legitimate practices for the use of the illustration? 1, you can look at how the policy works. 2, you can figure out under lower or higher returns or interest assumptions or investment performance, what will the impact on the policy be? 3rd, you can run what-if cash flow scenarios. But the questionable practices that we see quite often are cost competitiveness. It's impossible to determine the cost competitiveness of a policy by looking at the illustration. And later I'll show you how to do that correctly. Performance reasonableness. Impossible to figure out from the illustration, and I'll explain that in a couple of slides. Risk appropriateness. Again, impossible to figure out from the illustration. So in other words, it's not a representation, it's not a forecast, it's not a prediction.